Hello and welcome to the Shining Light video podcast show, where I shine a light on my guest and the positivity they're spreading in their communities. Our guest today is no other than Emmy Award-winning Mark Albert. Welcome to the show today, Mark.
Hey, thanks, Michael. Thanks for having me.
Well, I am excited to have you on because typically before I start these shows, I like to let everybody know about our mastermind community, the Take Action Mastermind community, which we had our first meeting last month, and we have our next meeting coming up on August 14th. And the reason why I didn't bring that up before introducing you is because guess what, everybody? Mark is going to be our co-host, our presenter, our teacher, our facilitator for our August 14th session. And so in the Take Action Mastermind community, it's there to support entrepreneurs, just like every one of you out there. And Mark, you're going to speak about what you'll be sharing in that session, in that mastermind session that we'll be doing on the 14th, but also about a really cool program that you're putting on in Washington, D.C., in an awesome studio. You gave us a whole tour on your video on your website. Really cool stuff. So I'm excited to learn more about that as well.
Well, thanks very much. First of all, thanks for having me on August 14th. It's going to be fantastic and great. And I can't wait for the questions from your audience, because the whole reason we're doing this is to help your audience try and craft their message and amplify it in the media. You know, Michael, you know this. I spent 25 years on air in television news, including as a correspondent at CBS News. I reported around the U.S. and from across the world. And every single day in every newsroom in America, journalists are looking for experts. And guess what? Experts are looking for journalists. So let's bring the two together with some very handy tips that your audience can use to try to amplify their message.
And I think that there's a really great example of the way that you do this in something that you had spoken with me about several months ago. So some background for everybody watching right now. I landed a keynote out in Indianapolis. I'm in New York. The keynote is out in Indianapolis, and that's coming up in September. September 25th, everybody. Going to be doing the InsurTech conference. I am the keynoter, so get your tickets. Indy InsurTech conference. IndyTech, excuse me, conference. And so I reached out to Mark, and I said, hey, Mark, I'm going to be doing this keynote. What are some tips and strategies that you think I should implement in order to promote the fact that I'm doing it, number one, in terms of selling more tickets for the conference, which is great for them, but also how do I share that I'm keynoting this event, and how do I use that in order to be a springboard or a platform for me to be able to land more keynotes and more workshops and coaching. And Mark, I'm going to turn it over to you because I want you to share the advice that you gave me with everybody, because you gave it to me for free. We barely knew each other at the time, and it was great advice and great information that I was able to take back to the team over there and work on. So I'd love if you could share. What are your thoughts on that? I'm going out to Indianapolis in September. I'm going to be doing this keynote, and I'm hoping that it's going to springboard my speaking career into a new direction.
Well, you're an expert in insurance, right, Michael? I mean, you've got a very successful business. You're going out there to speak to this conference. Why not reach out to local media outlets? So we're talking the 4 TV stations typically that have newsrooms in every market in America. And there are 210 markets in America, so everyone's got one. And then if there's a local newspaper, local radio, talk radio, news radio, the National Public Radio affiliate, digital platforms, Axios, for example, is increasing their coverage of local communities around the country with different sites like Axios, San Diego, etc. So I simply said to you, reach out to those local journalism newsrooms and say, hey, I'm coming to speak at this event. It's a huge economic driver for your community. And here's the value that I can add to your audience. Here are 3 things that are happening right now in this industry that your listeners, viewers, and readers need to know. And so I simply suggested you do what I do, which is reach out to local news whenever you're traveling.
Yeah, and I thought that was such a great strategy, a great tip to do. And another thing that you told me in order to, so the first thing that happens to someone like me who's not media trained, right? And that's part of what you do is you teach in the media is, okay, great. Simply reach out to the media and ask them to be on their show. So the first thought, you got it, you're laughing, right? Is, okay, why would they have me on? Who am I to get on their show? And you alleviated that with what you're going to tell me next.
Sure. So here's the point. And this is probably the most controversial thing that I have to say. And it's the hardest thing for my clients to hear, whether they're executives, entrepreneurs, public speakers, thought leaders. They're saying, why am I not getting coverage in the media? Why would someone want to cover me? And I want you to reframe this. First, I want you to stop pitching your company, stop pitching your brand, stop pitching your product. Don't do it. Most people do, and they don't hear back. What are you supposed to pitch instead? Your expertise. I don't know anything about insurance. I don't know anything about plumbing. I don't know anything about real estate. I don't know anything about financial advising. I don't know anything about what it's like to be a major company when an activist investor comes for you, like today with Southwest Airlines announcing these major changes, abandoning for 50 years their no seat assignment policy, adding premium seats for the first time, and doing red-eye flights for the first time. Why are they doing it now? Well, my goodness, they're under pressure to fire the CEO, to radically change their business model because they have an activist investor on their heels. So if I'm somebody with an expertise, especially about a story that's in the news today, I'm going to be reaching out. So if I'm a boardroom expert, if I know about company takeover attempts, if I know about activist investors, I'm reaching out to the media in Denver and in Dallas, where Southwest is based. Denver, it's like the number 2 airline there. And I'm offering my expertise as to how this happens. For you, you're an insurance expert. Insurance rates are going up around the country. People are super worried about insurance companies withdrawing from markets. You have all kinds of expertise that you can pitch to the local media. But the key is not to say, I'm coming to town, here's my business, cover me. Nobody's going to do that. Instead, how can you speak to the local audience in Indianapolis? How can you speak to the residents in Indiana with what you know, whether you're a realtor, financial advisor, insurance expert, etc.? You have to pitch your expertise. So for example, Michael, I think you and I talked about this. If I was a financial advisor, guess what I'm doing 2 weeks before New Year's Eve? I'm sending out a pitch to news outlets saying, here are the top 3 things you have to do now before New Year's Eve to save money on your taxes this year. And right before April 15th, guess what I'm doing? Top 5 tips to make sure you don't give the IRS more than they deserve. And so you're trying to capitalize on news events and pitching your expertise. I can't stress it enough. Journalists every day are looking for experts because they have expertise that adds value and context and explanation for their audience. So let's give it to them.
Yeah, I think a great analogy to that is you're essentially riding the wave. Like the media is already creating this wave. It's already creating this tsunami
Yep.
for you. And all you have to do is get your surfboard and just ride the wave. I love that. I love when you explain that to me. And another piece to this, which really kind of just like brings us all together with what you just said in terms of you have this reporter, you have this media outlet that has this great story. They're looking for an expert, and why not you? And so I think what really brings us together is something else that you shared with me, which is they are also looking to fill those spots, right? They have this hour programming ahead of them. They did a 15-minute segment or a 20-minute segment. Maybe it's a big one on the Southwest Airlines thing. And now they're going, all right, how do we fill the rest of this hour? And they're looking for people, like you said, for experts to fill that block of time. So it's not just that they're looking for the experts. They're also looking for you to fill the time, is what you had expressed to me.
If a journalist is going to cover a story, they're going to get however long they're going to get on TV. Could be 20 seconds, could be a minute and a half, could be 2 minutes. If you're in the newspaper, you're going to get 50 inches, 100 inches, 30 inches, whatever it happens to be. They have to fill that space. Let it be with your voice. Let it be with your message. Let it be with your expertise. So taking the Southwest Air example, journalists around the country right now are trying to explain to their audience what this means. And the great journalists are saying not just what Southwest is doing, but they're going to explain to their audience why Southwest is doing this. What is the context behind it? Not just about profits, not just about the post-pandemic travel surge, but about they've got this activist investor on their heels. They're trying to innovate. They're trying to survive. They're trying to preserve the current leadership team. That's context that we as an audience only can get from journalists. That's why we turn to news sources. You don't get that in your Facebook feed. You don't get that from Uncle Charlie talking about it. You get it from journalists who can bring together the facts, the context, the guidance, the history, and explain to you why it's happening. So everyone listening, if you've got expertise, I want you to think, what value could you bring to a journalist? And then pitch it.
That's awesome. I love that. And so let's just talk a little bit about your program that you have coming up. again, we have the mastermind, which is coming up. The mastermind that we're going to be doing, the Take Action Mastermind, will be virtual. You'll be sent a Zoom link if you register for it. I'll make sure that that'll be in the comments, a Zoom link for that. And Mark is going to be headlining that. So you got about 5 or 7 minutes just now of some really great tips to get out there. He's going to be workshopping this with you in our mastermind session. It'll be a full hour where you'll get his undivided attention for members of this mastermind. So that link will be there. On the side of that, Mark is also running a 3-day event in person in Washington, D.C., in a real live studio. He kind of brings you behind the scenes in his video on his website, which is really cool. And so I would love, Mark, if you could share a little bit about this 3-day really intensive that you're going to be going through with your clients.
Well, I hope I'll see you there, Michael. But yeah, it's 2 days for regular registrants, 3 days for our VIP tour tier. Let me take you inside. This is an immersive, curated, intimate experience. We're going to drop you into our event, and we are going to get you media trained. What does that mean? Well, first of all, we're going to teach you Media 101. We're going to teach you how to craft your message for a journalist. Michael, the message you give to a journalist is not the message you give to investors, customers, colleagues, employees. It's got to be different. We're going to teach you how to do that. We've got speakers coming from around the world. Literally, I've got somebody coming from Australia. We've got somebody coming from Slovenia, used to be the main anchor in Los Angeles. She's interrupting her trip to come and be a guest speaker here. She's going to teach about how to be on camera, body language, voice, intonation, how to read a teleprompter. We've got the head of a speakers bureau coming. How do you get speaking gigs? How do you get paid for speaking? We're going to take all this knowledge, all this learning. Oh, and by the way, did I tell you we're going to soup up your LinkedIn profile? We're going to take all this learning and we're going to put it into practice. We booked a TV studio across from the White House. I was just on doing analysis for an international network the other day. So it's a real live studio. It's used every day for national and international networks. You're going to be on set with me, one-on-one, doing an on-camera interview. We're going to record it. Then you're going right next door and you're going to do a podcast interview on camera as well. Then we've got a stage and you're going to go deliver your message on a stage. Don't worry if you're afraid of public speaking. We're going to teach you how to do it. We're going to give you all of that video so that you can use it for all of your platforms. The VIP tier, we're going to edit social media clips for you. We're going to edit a 2-minute sizzle reel for you. And the headliner of our VIP day, you get one-on-one coaching with me, where we put the on-camera TV studio interview that we did on a monitor, and you and I, one-on-one, we're going to play the whole thing. We're going to stop and start, stop and start. Here's what you did great. Here's what you can work on. Here's how we can make you great. And so it's everything you need to craft a message, get a journalist's attention, amplify it in the media, and get those placements. Get on the New York Times, get in your local TV station, get on the CBS Evening News. Let's make it happen. It's September 12th to the 14th. So Thursday evening reception, it starts all day Friday, all day Saturday, with September 15th, the optional VIP tier. The link is in the comments, Michael. MediaMasteryExperts.com, MediaMasteryExperts.com. And Michael, just for your listeners, we've created a special promo code. The show here is the Shining Light Show. So the promo code is Shining Light. No spaces, all one word, Shining Light. You use that promo code, $350 off, $350 off registration. You got to use it, though, coming up here by the end of August. We'd love to see you there.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you, Mark, for sharing all of that. Really cool stuff. Definitely go to the website, MediaMasteryExperts.com. Check it out. Of course, Mark is a friend of mine, so I checked it out and loved it. But I also know that you're on here because you bring a tremendous amount of value, not just to me, but to everybody around you. And there's a lot of valuable information right there on the website. And like I said, you get a sneak peek as to the studio that you're speaking about. I love it. Join us for our mastermind. That's August 14th. That's going to be at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Again, the link will be in the comments for everybody watching here. And you'll have Mark as your instructor for the day, and you'll learn more about the program happening on September. Say the dates again for you, the in-person.
12th to the 14th.
12th to the 14th. Awesome. Mark, thanks so much for coming on the show today. I want to thank everybody for watching today. As always, this is the Shining Light Video Podcast Show, which is live. We're live right now. This is not a recording, everybody. This is happening live every Thursday, 1 p.m. Eastern. So set your clock, set your alarms. We're on Facebook Live, Instagram Live, and YouTube Live. Catch us there, and we'll see you soon. Thanks for coming on today, Mark.
Thanks, Michael. It's been great.
Stay happy and stay healthy, everyone. Bye.